Most people think that failing to change is because they are lazy. And I get why that's the easy answer. It's clean. It puts the blame somewhere and gives you something to fix next time. Just try harder. Want it more. Be more consistent. But around the year 2000, two researchers spent years studying people who kept trying to change the same things about themselves and kept failing. And what they found has nothing to do with discipline at all. They called it the false hope syndrome. And here's what it actually is. The moment someone decides to change something, before they've done a single thing differently, the brain releases a quiet hit of optimism, a feeling of control, of this time is different. And that feeling is real. It's not delusion. It's a genuine psychological reward. The problem is, the reward came before the work, which means the urgency to actually do the work quietly drops, because you already feel like someone who is changing. And so the motivation fades. Life comes back in. And without one dramatic failure, you just stop. And then the most damaging part happens. Instead of understanding what went wrong, you blame yourself. You call yourself undisciplined, not serious enough. And that story sticks. So the next time you try, you're already starting with less belief than the time before. The cycle just gets tighter. A father spent 11 years trying to quit smoking. Every method, patches, cold turkey, apps, genuine desire, nothing worked. Until one afternoon, his daughter, maybe 5 years old, picked up a pen, put it between her fingers, looked up at him smiling and pretended to smoke it. He quit that day. Never went back. Not because he found more willpower, not a better method. Because in that moment, being a smoker became impossible. Not difficult. Impossible. It simply didn't fit who he was standing in that kitchen. He didn't fight a habit. His identity shifted, and the habit had nowhere left to live. And this is what the research in the early 2000s confirmed when scientists studied two groups of people facing temptation. One group was told to say, "I can't." The other said, "I don't." Almost twice as many people in the second group made the better choice. Two words. Same situation. Completely different outcome. Because I can't is someone fighting themselves. I don't is someone just being themselves. You can't discipline your way into a new life. But you can slowly become someone for whom the old life makes no sense. Now here's something that nobody really says out loud. Every behavior you've been trying to stop is doing a job, not metaphorically. Literally. It is meeting a need that isn't being met anywhere else. Stress eating isn't about food, it's about relief. A moment of softness in a day that hasn't offered any. The binge watching isn't laziness. It's the only place in your whole day where nobody needs anything from you. You cannot white-knuckle your way out of something that your nervous system believes is keeping you safe. It will always come back, because it has a reason to exist. So here's what to do instead of trying to stop. Next time the urge comes, pause for just a second and ask, what do I actually need right now? Not what do you want? What do you need? And then go find that thing another way. Something that gives you the exact same feeling, the relief, the escape, the comfort, just through a different door. One that doesn't cost you something afterward. The behavior won't need to be fought anymore. It will slowly lose its reason to exist. And then there's the social piece, which is quieter than people realize. When you start to change, the people around you feel it before they understand it. And something subtle happens. A joke with a little too much truth in it. And you've changed. That doesn't sound like a compliment. An offer of exactly what you're trying to quit. Not maliciously. Nobody's planning this. But your change holds up a mirror to people who aren't ready to look at themselves. And the easiest way to make a mirror go away is to make you go back to who you were. The people who actually change almost always quietly find even one person who treats them like they're already there. Just one. Because here's what the research on identity shows. Your brain updates who you believe you are faster through how other people see you than through any private decision you make alone. You can journal every morning, meditate, repeat things to yourself in the mirror. Or you can find one person who already sees the version of you that's becoming. That one person will do more. Here's the fourth thing. The one that almost nobody names. Some people are unconsciously loyal to their struggle. The struggle became their personality, their humor, their relatability, their whole story. I'm a work in progress is a very comfortable thing to be, because a work in progress never has to be finished. Never has to sit with the quiet, terrifying question of, what if I change everything and it's still not enough? Changing means answering that question, today, without the safety net of still figuring it out. Name it, write it down, say it out loud. I am scared that if I change and it's still not enough, I will have nothing left to blame. For a lot of people, that's the most honest sentence they've ever said about themselves. And the moment you look at it directly, it loses most of its power. And here's the last thing, the one that's barely spoken about, but is probably the most effective thing in this entire conversation. Researchers found something strange when studying how people see themselves across time. When you look at your future self, your brain actually processes that person similarly to how it processes a stranger. Not you. Someone else. Which is why it's so easy to make promises to your future self that you'd never keep to someone standing right in front of you. So here's the trick. Make your future self real to you right now. Write them a letter. Not about goals, about who they are. What a regular Tuesday feels like for them. How they move through a hard day. What they don't miss about the old version. The more vividly you can feel that person, the more your brain starts closing the psychological gap between who you are now and who you're becoming. And once that gap closes even slightly, the choices start to change on their own. Not through discipline, through something that feels closer to just being yourself. The people who never change aren't weaker than you. They just never found out what was actually happening underneath. Now you have. If you found something useful in this video, something that made a pattern click, something you finally have words for. And for more dark psychology, human behavior, and the kind of honest truths about the patterns we follow that nobody speaks about, subscribe to our channel. And before you go, drop a comment below about the one change you have been failing at and one small thing you are going to do differently after watching this. Because sometimes putting it into words is the first real step.